in progress.
Good morning, everyone. It is so nice to see you. I think we've got our Zoom live feed going. We also are on Facebook Live. So we're just going to wait a minute and let everybody hop on, and then we'll begin the program. I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Waynette Ditto, and I am the Library Director for the Hewitt Public Library. I have such a great privilege to be able to bring programming and all types of community engagement to Hewitt and the greater Waco area. Usually, our kickoff party is in Hewitt Park, and we see between 500 and 800 kids in one day at the park. But as y'all all know, things have changed a little bit due to COVID and the restrictions, and so we're just trying to be as safe as possible. I just want to give a big shout out to the Cameron Park Zoo. Our summer reading theme this year is Tales and Tales. And so when we were brainstorming, trying to figure out what we were going to do, we immediately thought of mermaids. And again, the Cameron Park Zoo really stepped up, and they're allowing us to live stream. And then also in a few minutes, you're going to hear a little bit of information and actually see the mermaids. So I'd like to invite you for the next 8 weeks to log on with us and to also come into the library. We have things that are going along. Next Monday, we'll pick up our kits. This week, our kit was a goldfish. And so the first 100 kids that signed up online were able to get a little bowl and a goldfish and food. Next week, what is our? It's
the balloon arts. So we'll have a balloon pump and some balloons that you can make an animal out of.
Yeah, and then on Tuesday we will have our character, and that is Woody and Buzz. And so we've got a beautiful backdrop provided by Waco Balloon Company, and it's really nice. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Tracy. She is our program coordinator, and will take the next part of the program. Thank you so much.
Hi guys, thanks for being here today. We really just want to thank the Cameron Park Zoo. They have really stepped up. So I want to introduce Brittany. She is the aquatics manager. Okay, I just want to make sure I got it right. She's going to introduce our 2 mermaids that will be swimming today. We're going to have some music playing. We're going to feel like we're under the sea. Okay, so I'm going to hand it over to you, sir.
18 is 16. Hey guys, just trying to alert our mermaids. Go ahead. They're good to go in. Good one, get in. So yes, like she said, my name is Brittany. I'm the manager here in the aquatics department at the zoo. So the tank behind me is our largest saltwater tank that we have on the ground. our flower garden exhibit. It's about 50,000 gallons. It's about 13 feet deep. Temperature usually sits between 74 and 76 degrees, so it's a little bit chilly when you're in there for a little bit. We have two mermaids getting in today. So our first mermaid is Maddie. She is one of our interns here for the summer. And then our second mermaid, whose tail has just appeared, that is Kate, and she is a mammal keeper here at the zoo. So this tank is named our flower garden exhibit because it is actually based off of a real reef in the Gulf of Mexico. There is a big marine preserve in the Gulf of Mexico called the Flower Garden Banks, and this is one of the tanks that's based off of that. So all the fish that you see in this tank are fish that you would find in the Gulf of Mexico, as well as all the coral. So the coral is not real in this tank, just because this tank is designed to be a fish exhibit, but it is based off of what real coral in the Gulf would look like. So we do get in this tank a couple times a week to dive, and then of course we get in to have our mermaids go for a swim. So the fish are pretty used to it. One question we usually get a lot is, how do your fish deal with having people in the tank? But because we dive this tank, like I said, 3 days a week, the fish are really used to it. They know who we are by now. Same with mermaids. As you can see, they kind of go with the mermaids, and they'll kind of go back and forth with these guys. We do choose stingrays in here as well. I don't see them at the current moment. They're probably up on the top because they are pretty new to the exhibit. So mermaids for them are kind of a new thing. But the fish, like I said, are all pretty used to us being in the tank with them. Pop down and see that. So yesterday was World Oceans Day, in case you guys haven't heard. So yesterday we had some events going on in the ship. World Oceans Day is just something that we celebrate every year. It's every year on June 8th. And it's just a really good opportunity to bring awareness to the world's oceans, the animals that live there, the good that it does for us and for the animals that live there, and just to bring awareness for the problems the ocean is facing. So things like pollution and different things like that. That's harmful for the fish, and then eventually it's going to be harmful for us. So that just brought up a lot of awareness. So we like to talk about that. So different things like why recycling is good, and why you should pick up your trash and things like that, because most things are going to end up in a waterway eventually, and it's going to harm fish, the mermaids that live there, and then eventually it's going to harm people. Everything is going to go full circle in life. So a couple cool fish that we do have in this tank, our pufferfish are always really popular. Jean is currently in here. She's on that end right now. She's going to work her way over. Pufferfish are pretty cool. As you guys know, they can puff up when they get scared or when they feel frightened. They're able to do this because pufferfish actually don't have a rib cage. They are just very, really stretchy skin. So Jean, this big girl down here swimming along the bottom, if she would ever get scared, she has the ability to puff up. So how pufferfish do that is they are going to fill their bodies with a bunch of water if they're in the water, or if they get pulled out of the water for some reason, they're going to suck in that air. And then because they don't have their rib cage, their bodies are going to inflate really, really big. And you can see the pufferfish, her spines usually lay flat on her body. It isn't until she's puffed up that her spines are going to stick straight out. It's a really good defense mechanism because who wants to eat the big poke ball, right? So really great defense mechanism. The only negative to it is once she's inflated, she loses all mobility. So she just is literally a ball floating in the water until she goes back down. They're able to store all of this air or water in what's called their swim bladder, and they're able to also pump it into their stomachs to make themselves even bigger. It is pretty dangerous for pufferfish to puff up. The longer they stay puffed up or the puff up a lot, it's really bad for them and they can actually die from it. So it's not good to scare pufferfish and make them puff up. It looks pretty cute, looks really cool, but it's actually really bad for them. So we have a couple stingrays. So Morty has made an appearance. He's on the bottom right there. So we call him Mort Monster. He is about 3 years old. He came to us from the aquarium in Tennessee. And then Rick, he's our other stingray. He's coming along this side right here. His tail's a little bit longer. And he also came from Tennessee Aquarium, and he's about 2 years old. So both of our stingrays are boys, and they are southern stingrays. And a lot of people ask about their barbs. So they both do still have their barbs. They can't shoot the barbs at us. Stingrays are really docile animals. The only way you're really going to get barbed by a stingray is if you go and intentionally grab onto the stingray and you scare him. All predators for stingrays come from the top because they spend most of their days, well, our boys like to swim everywhere, but they spend most of their days lying on the bottom like he's doing right now. So when a predator attacks them, it's going to be from the top, and they have the ability to swim their tails up, and that's when they would barb their prey. So that barb is used for defense mechanisms only, and they're going to envenomate their victim. So stingrays are venomous. The pufferfish are actually poisonous. So there's a lot of controversy with that. People don't really understand for pufferfish. So if you get poked by a pufferfish, that's not how you're going to get the poison. You actually have to eat a pufferfish to get the effects of their toxin. Their toxin's pretty deadly. It's about 1,200 times more deadly than cyanide. So one pufferfish has the ability to kill 8 adult humans. So, but you have to actually eat the pufferfish, like I said, to get that poison. Otherwise, swimming in the tank with them, you're totally fine. There are some cultures, like Japanese culture, who actually eat pufferfish, but you have to go through years and years of training of how to prep that fish for people to be able to safely eat them. So it is possible. I don't recommend it, but it is possible. Your mermaids might be getting a little tired. So because this is salt water, it makes you extremely buoyant. So when we get in to dive in this tank, we have to wear a wetsuit, of course, because the water is a little bit chilly. And then we also have to wear a wave belt. So if we would jump in this water with just the wetsuit on, because of the salt water, we would float right on the top. We wouldn't even be able to get down to the bottom, even if we tried, because the salt water makes you extremely buoyant. Same thing when you're a mermaid. So that tail makes you pretty buoyant. So it is actually a lot of work to be able to dive down under the water. As you can see, when Kate goes down, she's using her arm strength to kind of get herself down. And she has to pull pretty hard to get to the bottom, to stay at the bottom, because that salt water does make you float very, very well.
Under the sea, we after we got no trouble. Life is the bubbles under the sea. Under the sea. Seems like it's here. We got to be here naturally. Here on the street and have the rain. The earth start to play. We got the spirit, you got to play. Under the sea. Play the bass, play the bass, the sound, the jump, the bass, play the brass, the jump, play the top, the boot is the boot of soul, the baby lives on the string, the top, rocking up the black fish, she sings this belt and this front, they know where it's at, they know that love is blow. Under the sea, when the sun what do they got? We got Each little down there, no other down there, under the sea. Each little slum there, got to go around there, under the sea. Each little snail there, no other whale there, that's why it's hot. I'm under the water, yeah, we can look there, yeah, we can look there, under the sea.
What would I do to speak? Smiling at everything right. If we could stay all day, no smile, just start of your world.
It's a talent that I always have. I use it on behalf of the people who worst. Oh, unfortunate soul, in me. If I know that one wants to get the girl, and do I help her? So, oh, unfortunate soul, they come from like everyone still good to me that I help them. Now it's someone wants the price, and I'm afraid I think I feel to those poor unfortunate souls. I know I'm just a token really trying.
is only the beginning of all the fun activities we have going on this summer. Starting next week, we have more activities. We have our balloon animal kits. We have Disney's Toy Story Buzz and Woody coming to the library next Tuesday from 10 to 12. And Wednesday, we also have our virtual story time for Mr. Mark, our balloon storytelling. And also, let's not forget, summer reading is just started. There's plenty of time to participate, so you can sign up and read and earn lots of prizes. We have t-shirts, we have backpacks, we have coupons, tons of things we'd love to give away. You do not have to be a Hewitt resident to participate in these activities, so I encourage everybody to sign up. You can go to www.cityofhewitt.com, visit our library's website for more information, or you can